I have found that when I've hit these moments where I'm just like, I can't keep going at this pace, I can't quite put words to explain it to my husband or to explain it to my team or to my publisher. It's like, I don't know how to tell you that the brain is no longer as sharp and effective as it used to be. And I don't know what I need to do to get myself back online. So how do we express it to our loved ones and the people we have to perform for?
So we're going to go back to what I said to you in the beginning. It's called the body map, okay? Where we tuned in to ourselves. So if I said to you, hey, Mindy, my throat's been constricted and my heart's been racing and my stomach's been turning. I said yes to getting this done in 2 months. And I didn't sleep last night. Or all weekend, I haven't been able to sleep or focus. What I think is going on is that I have said yes when I really meant no. And while I don't want to disappoint you, what I have to pay attention to is that my body is actually saying this isn't going to work. Now, the good news about knowing and deciphering the physical language of your own body, the unique language of your own body, is that what is someone going to say? No, your heart isn't racing. No, your stomach isn't turning.
Yeah, well said.
It's data. But nobody shares or knows what to do with this in order to explain it. And I'll tell you why. I think from when we were really young, we think about somebody is playing, like a child is playing with bubbles or with their brother or whatever. And suddenly you say, okay, honey, it's time to go to school. And they're like, I have a tummy ache. I can't go to school. And you say, no, I just saw you playing with your brother. You guys go to school. Even young, we as adults don't understand that actually what we should be thinking about is, does this child feel lonely on the bus? Are they getting bullied? Do they have to sit alone at the cafeteria? Because as soon as you said it was time to go to school, their body started talking. And we teach them, no, you were just fine. You go to school. We teach them at a young age to override those signals.
So true.
So I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, how did I get here? We live in a society that's moving in a digital and AI age, is moving faster and faster by the minute.
Yeah.
And us trying to keep up with this we've literally co-created an external world that exceeds the capacity of our own biology.
Ooh, that was so well said. Oh, bingo. I call it the patriarchal pace. That it's just like that production pace. And that you actually bring up a question I was going to ask you is, when I hear the definition of burnout, when I hear about all the different pieces of it, I'm like, what human isn't burnt out at this moment? And what is our way out of it? So if the digital world has now exceeded our human physiology, what is our way out?
Well, I think we have to expand our capacity. So the way that you expand your capacity is, like I said, this game change for me was being able to pick up signals early in my body. If I'm not catching this until really late in the game, I feel helpless at it because it's happening to me.
Yes.
And when I get the agency to know that throat constriction and stomach turning means I'm not speaking my truth, I'm holding back, all of a sudden in a meeting, I can say, you know what, I said I'd have that by Friday. Monday is going to be a lot better. And the help that I would need is support from the marketing team or, if I'm talking about at home, a cleaning lady and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what it is. But in those moments, it's time for us to up-level our ability to function in this world. Yeah. And that requires inner work. That requires us knowing
Yes.
ourselves, picking up signals earlier. The people I think who are going to succeed in this next leg of our life and the race that is now on digitally are the ones who can pick up signals early, are taking data from inside them and using their own intuition, their body's physiology, getting extra information so they can make more decisions with less information at a quicker pace.
Amazing.
So
Yeah. And I love what you're saying. And
burnout is your fair fare.
yeah. And so, you know what I heard in that is boundaries. You have to learn to set some boundaries, and you have to learn how to express what you need. And I think those are two things, and I don't mean this in a sexist way, any shape or form, but I do believe as women, we have a real hard time with that. And I can tell you it's a big part of what I'm learning in my own life now is to put down the people pleasing, ask myself what is right for me, and then put the boundary up and then express what I need. And I think that's another way of looking at it the way you just said it, is that it's never been more important to have a boundary. For those of you who are listening, she just showed me there's a whole chapter in her book on why boundaries matter. Yes. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
amazing.
Boundaries, and I actually did a whole hour with Mel Robbins on her podcast on people pleasing. So for women who struggle with this, you will hear me talk about not only how I figured it out, how it came about, because people pleasing started early. It didn't start lately.
Yes. Oh,
And
yes. Oh,
it's
yes.
it's one of those things with deep roots, and it can change. You can shift. There are actual tools that you can actually develop your boundaries. And for some people, they've been crushed in their life, and their boundaries are more like armor around them that doesn't allow connection and vulnerability in. So sometimes boundaries are too rigid in reaction, oftentimes to trauma or pain. Sometimes boundaries are too porous because we want you to like us, and many other reasons. But we not only do we need to learn boundaries change. For me, they've changed each decade. And what's important to me changes. What I'm willing to do as an aspiring medical resident is different than what I'm willing to do in my 40s and 50s. Right?
Yep.
And so to know how to do it and then adjust it to your environment and the context in which you are based on the values and your spiritual guidance system, you now can navigate the world. But to me, it's an inner game now. We got here with an outer game, but now it's really important to do the inner game.
Yeah.